All right, testing, testing, testing. All right, guys, good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. I told you guys early this morning that I was going to have the aftermarket recap today because I was going to go out for dinner. That was actually going to be for tomorrow. So that's my bad. I thought it was today, but it's really for tomorrow. So I can't keep up my schedule sometimes. Either way, here I am, ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Really do appreciate it. As always, make sure you hit that like button if you love these videos and support. Dow Jones closed up 61 points. NASDAQ closed red slightly. S&P gained 0.21%, nothing special. VIX was down today, 5.73%. Equal weight S&P fared a little less than the S&P. Thank you, Microsoft, for adding a big day today, nearly 5%. Was up a lot higher earlier in the day. Small caps were hit, down 0.42%. Dollar index continues to get to those highs, guys. I mean, multi-decade highs for the dollar index. You're not going to get a nice bounce until we get at least a pullback from the dollar. TNX, which is the 10-year yields, they were up today, 46 basis points to 2.818%. High yield credit came back down 0.5%. LQD, which is investment grade bonds, fell nearly 1%. So 10-year yields did fall. 10-year yields did rise while the prices went down. TLT, I still own shares in that. Taking a look here at crude oil, up 0.38%, 102.09. Exxon did report an increase, or they announced their dividend. Gasoline futures were up 3.25%, 341. And I also talked about today on Twitter. My last tweet was about watch the crypto market. 39,085 on crypto futures, Bitcoin futures, excuse me, up 2.26%. Should give us a little bit of a hint where the Nasdaq is going to go further. Ethereum up 1% at 2865. Again, I'm watching for 40,000 Bitcoin. I'm watching for 3,000 Ethereum. See what we get in terms of that, because the Nasdaq does tend to roll with crypto. Right now, the spot price on Bitcoin is 39,136. So it's slightly a little higher than the future side. We should be able to get that number a little tightened up in terms of fair value. So earnings today, let's go over a couple here that came up. Facebook, the big one, did report earnings. They're up after hours, as you can see. Let's go ahead and take a look. Facebook stock. Facebook is up 16.82% after hours. I am a shareholder of it. Great to see. I read some of the quarter here. If I could be honest with you, it was not anything special. The only thing people are hanging their hat on is the fact that they had better than expected daily active users. But again, nothing really to kind of cheer on. I don't know why it would be up so much. Again, I'm not going to fight it, obviously, but I guess it was one of those things where Facebook was expected to be so bad. There were so many offside bets in terms of the actual the stock itself, maybe breaking down even further. It did hit its slowest revenue growth since their IPO. So there is some headwinds there. But the daily active users, I'm assuming here, is where we're getting some of that price action. We're at 205.53 now. That's helping the NASDAQ futures, as you can see. I talked about that today on Twitter, that 13,000 level is such a key level for NASDAQ. It just doesn't seem to want to break. I am still long Apple calls. I'm still long QQQ calls. I did catch Microsoft and SPY today, but I didn't get to close Microsoft with the team. I was typing it up and sending the screenshot. I did not close. So, oh well, it happens. But yeah, we did catch at least SPY today for calls, and we did catch Microsoft for calls. Again, been seeing this bounce on NASDAQ with Facebook being, I was expecting it to be a bloodbath, but as you can see, it is being bought up after hours. Maybe we'll get some upgrades on the banks tomorrow or from the investment banks on Facebook. Qualcomm did also report earnings. They had a spectacular quarter. I actually read that. They're up after hours as well. Kind of keeps you in the back of your mind, AMD. If you're an AMD shareholder, this is nice to see. Qualcomm is up 5% after hours. If anyone owns Qualcomm, they know they're a great dividend payer. AMD is also up after hours about 1.46%. So maybe that kind of gives us a little bit of a hint of what's going to happen in terms of AMD and NVIDIA moving forward. Qualcomm had a great quarter. Texas Instruments, not so much, but Taiwan Semiconductor did. So good for Qualcomm. Pinterest also reported earnings. They beat on all metrics, and they're up very nicely after hours. The one that's shit the bed today was Teladoc. Now, I have a small position in Teladoc. Pinterest is up 8% after hours. Now, I do have Teladoc, and I was reading some of their numbers of the quarter. As you can see here, I just brought it up. Taking a look at Teladoc here, if I can get this going, Teladoc. One thing that stood out to me, which was really strange, non-cash impairment charge of 6.6 billion. So I'd have to look that a little further. Let's see here. Teladoc sees quarter two revenue 580 million, 600 million was the estimate. Was their report estimate was 616 million. So that's a quite a miss, about $36 million miss on the low end, and you can see why the stock is tanking where it is. That's going to hurt Kathy Wood, that's for sure, because that's one of her larger holdings. So maybe we'll get a little bit of sales from her as well. Let's see what happens, or what happens tomorrow. We've seen these big drops and get bought up. So who really knows until the next day? It feels like every day is a new market in a sense. It kind of is. Qualcomm CFO Akash Palikwala, I'm going to butcher that name, says companies making rapid progress towards meeting its financial targets given at Investor Day, November 2021. I just retweeted that. This is also as well. Qualcomm CFO says company's Internet of Things unit, quote, continues to be fastest growing segment at 61% year over year growth. So again, kind of focusing on that. Very nice to see that. Needs to see exactly that kind of boost in semiconductors, which have been beaten down. Now, again, the only thing that kind of stood out to me with Facebook was that I was kind of expecting possibly another Netflix scenario where they had the second consecutive bad quarter with a drop. That didn't happen with Facebook. I'm looking at a level of 227.01. Am I rushing to buy this now? No. I do own shares, but I'm not going to rush out and buy it yet. Again, a good quarter, but not a great quarter. I think Qualcomm is a better buy on Facebook. But Facebook, based on their earnings, they're trading right about 17 times multiple. Now, that may change based on the stock price, obviously, with this big gain. But trading at a 17, there's another stock that trades at 17 times multiple. And guess what that stock is? Same exact multiple. It's CVX. So let's go ahead and zoom out CVX, which is Chevron, versus Facebook. And again, they're both trading at 17 times multiples. Sectors matter. It always matters. More times than not, sectors wide get hit, not just the stock itself. All right, let's go and answer some questions here. Master's asking about Spotify, and I did talk about that today. And Spotify, again, big downfall today, down 12%. I believe they were downgraded after their earnings, which was this morning. I have the app of Spotify. It is breaking down support. So right now you're at a point that you're just trying to catch a falling knife. So now you're way below the IPO number. If you like Spotify and you're really believing in the company future, I guess you can put some money in, but I wouldn't buy this. Again, the technology that they have, Spotify, and they burn a lot of cash in terms of podcast talent. But at the end of the day, they do have great margins. But Apple does the exact same thing too. You have SiriusXM as well. You have Amazon Prime Music, and I believe Google Music as well. So Spotify does have a lot of competition, which is the difficult thing. So no, I would not want to be a buyer of Spotify here. If you're talking about puts, I mean, it can go as low as zero for all we know. But it broke down every support imaginable. It's below that. So really, if you're looking to possibly short this, it's going to be a tough trek unless you expect more pain ahead for this name. But they actually wasn't a horrible quarter. But again, I just don't see the want to buy this company when Amazon and Apple and Google already do the same thing. They're already streaming music, and I get a way better balance sheet. I get tons of cash, and it's just a small portion of their business. This is Spotify's full business. Well, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it. In terms of Teladoc, EPS did beat expectations, and their sales were slightly below. So again, they still had quarterly losses of 47 cents. And again, they did increase 64% over losses per share. So maybe this is just one of those kind of panic things. Get rid of it, kind of fire sale. You can see where it's been from 302, 308 to 55. Makes a lot of sense. Right now you're at 36, so you're way below just at the Spotify level. Kind of like .com bubble bursting on some names out there. And again, there's a lot of other names out there that did well after the .com crash. The question is, hey, do you believe in Teladoc long term? I've actually used their app before. It isn't terrible, to be honest with you. I used it to call my doctor. I think it was last year. So again, it can have a good product. Doesn't mean it's a good business. But good to see Facebook bounce. Looking at S&P futures here, my target is still 42.52. And we had a nice little ugly end of the day candle last 2 hours. I thought maybe 3 o'clock would give us a little bit more. But 42.30 is a level that we have not broken yet. We should be able to break it overnight. I believe that Facebook being so bad, that it was so bearish, that actually had some kind of decent good news with their numbers. It's being celebrated right now. Microsoft had a great quarter. Google was so-so. I mean, I still love Google, but now we have Amazon and Apple coming up. So let's see what happens. There's a lot to look forward to. One thing about the VIX, though, take a look at this. We're going to go ahead and zoom in here on the 1 hour, and you can see kind of a downward trend. I also posted this on Twitter. You see each time we've had a downward trend, we kind of fell a little lower with a little bit of spikes here and there. So again, I'm targeting below 30. If we can get below 30 on VIX, we should be able to get to 42.52. And after we get to 42.52, now you're in new range. Now you're as high as 43.71. So again, a bottom, no, but again, I can see us getting a little bit of a relief bounce here as statistics have shown that the last 3 days of the month, in terms of a bad month, I'm gonna get that exact figure for you because that's a really good chart to post here. Again, things do change, obviously, per day, but this was a great stat. Let me show you it. Where is this stat? Here we go. Thought I had it here. I tweet a lot, so my apologies. Okay, so there is, I guess you want to say hope for the Bulls, and here it is. You can see here, last 12 recent worst starts of the month, April being a bad one. End of month bounces happen 11 out of the 12 times, and even the last one being January. The last 3 months were strong, 3.8%. Really, the only time this didn't happen was COVID. So again, we're probably looking for about a 2.8% increase in the S&P. We gained today 0.21. So we got a little more. 2.6 in the next 2 days is not out of the realm of reality. And again, that would put you right at 4,300 on the S&P. That would get you, well, not really much near any moving averages, but it'll probably get you at yesterday's highs. That's basically it. So 4,300 is pretty much my target, and that'll kind of meet that level of the bad start to a month. The last 3 days do become very strong. So if you want to go and take a look at that, I did retweet that on Twitter. Feel free to take a look at that number. Again, it's just statistics. You got to go trade it every day. No relief bounce into the Fed meeting. Fed moves the market, and so does Elon. Well, technically, Elon has. Elon has moved a lot. Now he's talking about DWAC as well, which is former President Donald Trump's Truth Social. So again, interesting all around. But really, the big number here was Facebook. Facebook having their call. I mean, I don't see why it's going up that much, but again, clinging on to any news, the Bulls. So we just have to wait and see. Definitely going to watch futures tonight. 42.52 is a key level to watch in the S&P. Just watch that. Remember, look at futures now, up 41 points. Let's see what we do at the open. Have a great rest of your afternoon, guys. I'll catch you guys for the morning note tomorrow. Cheers.